Go.
All right, we're live. We are building the Tuxedo Cat, which has been a very highly requested set, and one that I'm pretty excited to dive into. We have 1,710 pieces, and today's a very special edition of live streaming Legos because we are going to start talking about some history topics, and Lucas is going to read some for me, and we're just going to build, hang out, hear some stories. So,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
we got Lucas on the ones and twos.
What do we want to start with?
We want to start with whatever your little heart desires.
The Great Stink.
Yeah, let's hear about the Great Stink. How many people we got in there, Lucas? Oh. Okay. Beautiful stuff. Tuxedo Cat up in front and center. Can you see that?
We got 27 people.
Cool. 27 chillers. Sounds like a blast. Let's give it a shot. The most important step is finding bag one, which we have done. So now we can get going and hear a little bit about the Great Stink.
Okay. The Great Stink was an event in central London during July and August of 1858, in which the hot weather exacerbated the smell of untreated human waste
Okay.
and industrial effluent.
Which, of course, I know what. Would you say effluence?
Yeah, it is highlighted blue. Should I go to that?
Give it a shot. Let's find out about effluence.
Effluent is wastewater from sewers or industrial outflows that flow directly into surface waters, either untreated or being treated at a facility.
That sounds awful.
So that's
All right, so the Great Stink, we're talking early mid 1858. Great year to be alive, and there was some sort of heat wave that came through.
the smell and fear of its possible effects prompted action from the national and local administrators who had been considering possible solutions for the problem. Authorities accepted the proposal. I don't know, dude. This is a lot of stuff. It's also tough because if I'm reading that, I can't read the chat.
Yeah, let's hear from the chat for a little bit, and then go from there.
They say audio's not working for me, but they do this all the time.
Okay, well that's annoying. Is it working on yours?
It says it should be.
They do this often. Kind of a funny prank.
Is that?
I said that's kind of a funny prank if that's what they're doing.
Dude, it's not working. I can hear myself through yours.
Right?
There's no reason right now why it shouldn't be working.
Wait, but you can hear it on like your phone?
Yeah.
So surely it's working. They're just being little pranksters.
Your mic is working, but my audio is coming through your mic.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all.
No.
You would think a couple gentlemen who work at a media company would have thought of this. Not us, though. Not us.
Let me give Old Wheels a call.
Well, in the meantime, let me know how the listeners are feeling.
They said it sounds like you are on a speakerphone yelling from another room.
Him or Lucas or me?
Me. You're good. They said, why are Liam and Angus beefing?
Oh. Funny story. They're actually not. Will said that as a joke, and I don't think he thought anyone was going to take that seriously. So Will and Liam's relationship, as far as I know, which I saw both of them today, seems to be going swimmingly. I hope that that's the case, but who knows? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's trouble in paradise. Did
Any questions for Rusty?
did you test this before?
Um, yes, we did, and it was working.
Cool. Well, sometimes life throws you curveballs. You gotta just sit in there, take it. Also, fun story. There's a wildfire happening outside. So
Brutal night.
is what do you say?
That's a brutal night.
Brutal night. There's a wildfire happening outside, and a lot of you might be asking yourself, is this the best time to be building Legos? I think so. And here's I think a lot of people, you know, get really worked up. What?
Sorry, I got bills online.
Lucas
So
is currently
the audio
figuring
from
out the
Rusty's
audio.
might be working, but not from my mic. And yeah, yep. It says it's coming through on it. Go ahead.
We're a really buttoned up company, as you can tell. We're gonna work on it though.
Mhm.
You guys get to watch Lucas figure this out in real time, which is very fun.
Okay. No, how to? I mean, it still says it's spiking, but I don't know how to test it.
Figuring this out live is very fun.
Rusty, they want to know why we are not in Pod Studio.
We're not in the pod studio because I actually don't. We built this little like Lego setup for fun, and then I kind of just liked it, and so we're hanging out there. And I think Edge wants us to like use more of the whole office, which I understand. And so for right now, this is where we reside for Lego streams. And let me know if you like it. I like it. As you can see in a new How Cool in a couple weeks, you'll find out uh, how I become a professional builder. But we are currently in our new in the garage, which is very fun. But it does feel like maybe it um, feels like a little bit of a slap, but who knows? How are you guys doing today or tonight?
I don't think so.
Can you guys let us know if you can start hearing Lucas, because that is currently very, very distracting for old Rusty.
So I have the live up too.
I still can't get over how funny it is to do this live. Could have figured it out earlier. Thought we did. Did not. But once Lucas gets on, he'll be able to answer any and all of your questions. We're going to learn a little bit about history.
Do Q&A, I just feed you questions and we can just do that for next.
Sure.
You still do cold pack reviews?
Sometimes, not as much. It's a little taxing on the body. And, my thought process was I'm 23, could start to get a little sad here if I did that forever. So the thinking was move on. But we still do all sorts of stuff. And I still will do those every once in a while. I want to know how you guys are doing, but we'll have to wait for that for a second. But before we know it, we'll all be chatting, having a good night, hanging out. I'm sorry, we're off to a bit of a rocky start. I will be hearing from you guys in no time, I'm sure. We got our biggest brains on this, and they're going to get to the bottom of it. I do. The one thing I miss about the pod studio is I had a TV in front of me where I could see what you guys were chatting about. But I will say I'm making like a lot of progress on this in the meantime. So that might be something to look into. Right as I said that, immediately fuck this up. I hope this doesn't discourage any of you that joined early, because I would love to chat once Lucas figures this out. And it feels like they're making some headway over there, I will say.
Test.
The wildfire is slowly spreading towards my house, which is a little concerning, but my thought process is, what can you do? And people seem to be getting frustrated with me that that's my approach, but I don't know what else. I don't know what else to do. I'm not a firefighter. I don't know any firefighters. And it feels like if the fire wants to come to my house, it's going to come to my house. So my thinking is, if you keep a positive attitude, maybe it'll just miss you. Maybe it'll miss you by a hair. But I feel awful for the people who did not miss it, because that looks. I saw that guy Grant Cardone, you know, that like borderline scammer or whatever. His house is the last house standing on the beach. So that's terrifying. Lucas, how's it coming over there?
We might have done something.
Okay.
I'm waiting. There's a delay.
There's a delay to find out if these people are. Or no, you will hear it. I'm hoping you hear your beautiful voice here any second. Can you guys hear him? It'd be pretty great if you could. I
No. Okay.
can't hear it.
Yeah, this is a really bad night.
Yeah, things are going haywire in Lucas land right now. Are we rapidly losing?
No, we're gaining.
Oh, nice. Well, if you're new here, just a bit of trouble. No, I got distracted. Wait, no. Lucas is having a bit of trouble getting the mic to start working for him. But in the meantime, I think we're going to be just fine.
No, I don't. No.
This feels like when your mom is like on a work call and you have to be very, very quiet.
I do when I'm on the YouTube live, but not for the restream. Test.
Where did I? All right, Rusty's Jack's first mess up of the night. Not to worry. Simple fix, and we're good to go. We're back in business. Test, 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 test. I'm hoping right about now you guys hear Lucas's beautiful voice come through the through the mic. And bag one is done. One of the hardest parts of Legos for
Right.
me is finding the next bag. The second hardest part.
Well, I mean, we can make do without it, where I just feed him questions here.
To be able
Answer those
to
questions.
hear. Oh, here we go. All right.
Like one of the handheld mics.
Today in the office, we had the option.
Okay,
The option to not come in because of the fire, and lots of people took that as do not come in. But a few lone champions showed up, powered through. Kind of wishing I didn't, but I would have come in here anyways for this. Lucas is now gone trying to figure something out, but I'm sure I will be hearing from you guys any minute. It's pretty hard to communicate with you guys without seeing what you're saying, but I'm sure it'll work out. Lucas has the oldest mics in the world now. Look very funny. So hoping that works.
They said, Rusty, prove this isn't pre-recorded.
What?
I said, prove this isn't pre-recorded.
Prove this isn't pre-recorded. This is not pre-recorded. If we did pre-record it, I'm sure we would have figured out the audio situation before. But we're having fun nonetheless. What else are they saying, Lucas? I want to start talking to my beautiful people.
Okay. We think it's an issue with the interface restream. So I'm just gonna feed you questions, and you'll just have to answer those questions.
Sounds good. What are they saying, Luke?
Okay. Ask them to ask you some questions.
Guys, what's on your mind? Let's get to the bottom of it. I want to hear from you. I want to know what's going on in those beautiful brains of yours. Oh, before that, have you guys seen that new fucking monkey movie? It looks. I didn't know this man existed until 3 days ago, and apparently he's like the most famous man in the world in Britain. So I guess not the world, but very strange stuff.
They want you to hold up 2 fingers, just your index and thumb.
That felt like a prank, but I'm not totally sure how yet. Dude, someone, you know how on Playdate, like we do those like Family Guy things at Lauren? A listener Family Guy, Lauren, and we didn't notice. He wrote in like a pitch submission, and he made it under the name Adam West, who's the mayor of Quahog. And I didn't pick up on it, and Will didn't pick up on it. And I will tell you, I thought getting Family Guide was funny. I don't like being on the receiving end of it. Not enjoyable for me, and I hope it doesn't happen again. I can like faintly hear myself talking. It's really.
And you gave us $2 and she said,
What's her name? Anita. I love you more than life itself. That might be a bit of an exaggeration, but who knows? Anita, I hope you're. Oh, is it gonna be like Anita? Anita.
Oh fuck!
You asshole.
Her last name is hand jab. Hand jab.
Anita hand jab.
Oh my god.
You guys are too silly. All right. What's going on in their world, Lucas? I want to hear from my friend.
Let's see.
Anita hand jab.
Shout out Anita. Let's go, Anita.
Anita, we
Bro
love
got
you.
got. Her last name is really pretty.
What is it?
Said the last name is really pretty.
It is really. It's a pretty name.
Anita Max Win, they said. Right.
How are they? I want to know if anyone's house is currently on fire because I'm kind of worried about mine. And I wasn't worried at all last night. And my roommate goes, we were sitting there and he had just taken an edible, and that's probably the worst time to take one is when like your neighborhood is currently under siege. And he said, "Yo, do you think we should get rid of the Christmas tree?" And I was like, if the fire's close enough for our Christmas tree that's in our living room to catch on fire, like it's too late. You know what I mean? You didn't like that. You didn't
No,
like
dude,
that,
I'm so
Lucas.
dude, I'm so next to me.
Yeah. But how are you gonna read the chat?
I can do it on my phone.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah.
That girl texted me back. You didn't hate the message. So I was really happy.
Okay, do you want to explain to them what happened? Oh, you can also act as so get bag 3 ready. I think it's down there. All right, we are having fun now. We're already 2 bags in.
Sorry that we didn't have that.
You know what? We're just a couple of guys. We have a job that requires a large amount of technical knowledge,
Right.
and we have very little of it.
Right.
So that's immediately kind of, a step back, but that's life.
And hey, a new setup.
It is a new setup. We are currently figuring it out on the fly, as they say. Lucas, let me know what's on your mind. Oh, wait, tell them about what happened.
I went on a date with Emily Binder's friend.
Of course.
And Will Angus and Liam Cullen on their podcast, they were calling me like the rat thing. And
They said you were a handsome prince of rap.
so Liam said I was the prince of the underworld, which I appreciate.
That's a compliment. It's a big compliment.
And a rat king.
What is a cretin?
I think it's just a picture.
You can get this over here closer to you.
It's just a creature.
I mean, creature. And Emily Binder sent her the sent it straight. I didn't know how to respond.
So your anger should be twofold. On one hand, they probably shouldn't have said that, but two, why is Binder sending that to her?
They're friends.
Did I tell you what Binder did to me at our Christmas party? We went to the bar after, and were you?
Yeah, also, she sent me this. You remember Liam sent that? What is it? NDT.
No. I don't know.
That's why I was happy.
Yeah, honestly, she opened the door for you.
Yeah.
But so we're at that I'm not just in sort of a technical
I
glitch.
think that'll bring it back, right?
That should bring it back. Yeah, I see the green spikes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, when do I know? It's like,
I will let you know as soon as it comes through my speakers.
okay.
The good news is it feels like we got our audio back. The bad news is
Audio.
audio's back.
It's coming in.
Oh, this is lovely. We're just kings of our trade.
I think you're back.
Are we back?
Does this mic work too now? Because I heard it through this headphones.
I don't know, but I can't imagine that.
Because we reset it.
I can't imagine anyone is still watching this.
Is it? It's coming. It's cutting in and out of on mine. Does it sound good on yours, Wheels? Okay, cool. And you hear me too? Because I think this mic works now.
I think so. I think you turn yourself up.
Okay.
If you're still listening,
Thank you.
thank you, and we are just so
I
sorry
think this works.
because
All right, thanks.
we're struggling a little bit today. But I hope the audio's back. I hope you can hear me. I hope you stuck around. How many people we got there, Lucas?
We've got 75,
Awesome.
which I
Cool.
think is the highest that we've had tonight.
So, guys, we're back. We, I think, figured it out permanently. So hopefully
They can hear both. Let's go.
they can hear both now. Okay, we can do our thing now.
This is
You,
amazing.
you stuck around. You figured it out. This is
Dude.
the reward for hard work.
Mitch Perkins just said audio's not working, but I remember that guy every time does the audio. prank.
So here's the thing. I'm a big fan of a good prank. I love a good prank. What I don't love is what's happening right now.
They said, Rusty, can we hear your thoughts now?
Yes, you can hear my thoughts. I had a lot of thoughts while the audio was gone, but are now escaping me. But it'll come back to us. Oh, what were we talking? We were talking about the fire and how much of a nightmare that is. My thoughts are, people are upset that I am not doing anything about it, but I don't know what you would want me to do, because all I can do is be like semi-worried, and that doesn't help anyone. I don't know any firefighters. I'm not a firefighter. So my thought is, why not just tough it out, feel bad for the people that it's happening to, but there's nothing that I can do currently. Any questions, Lucas? Let's get my juices flowing a little bit here.
Well, somebody named Phil Myanus gave us $2 and wanted us shout out.
Shout out Phil Myanus, man. That guy's awesome. That guy rocks.
Yeah.
What an unfortunate name for that
What's
gentleman.
wrong with the name Phil?
Dude, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it sounds a little crass, if I had to be completely transparent. But sometimes you got to dance with the one who brung you, and that's the name he got. So,
All right, Rusty, I'm looking at this sheet that you made. What
Right.
is the day it rained meat?
the what?
The day it rained meat.
I don't know, man. I saw it on the internet. I thought it sounded interesting. Why don't you tell me a little bit about it?
All right, I'm gonna search the day it rained meat. The Kentucky meat shower.
Ooh.
1870.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, the Kentucky meat shower was an incident occurring for a period of several minutes between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. on March 3rd, 1876,
Ugh.
where what happened to be chunks of red meat fell from the sky in a 100 by 50 yard area near Olympia Springs.
Wait, 100 by 50. So it was one football field.
1.5.
1.5 football fields got peppered by some sort of meat shower.
Yeah.
That sounds just awful. That sounds like a fucking nightmare.
So the type of meat was never identified, but there
Right.
were various reports suggesting it was beef, lamb, deer, bear, horse, and possibly human.
Okay. So there are a couple things. There are a couple things to cover there. The first is, yeah, of course, the meat was never identified. Who's gonna eat that? The second is, I have questions for the people that had guesses, because here's the thing. If you're guessing, if you get hit with some sort of mysterious meat chunk, you're just, minding your own business. Perhaps, where was this, in England, Kentucky? You're in beautiful bluegrass Kentucky, maybe somewhere outside of Lexington, and you get hit with some sort of giant slab of, red meat. My instinct is never going to be to identify the meat. That is the last thing on my mind. The first thing that I'm going to try and figure out is, am I awake? Am I currently awake, or am I dreaming this? Because I just got hit with some sort of chunk of meat.
There's multiple reports from different people.
Right. And I want to hear from the terrifying gentleman that goes, you know what?
Human.
I think this might be human, because that guy has some stuff to work out internally. He has some stuff to work out amongst, maybe with a licensed professional.
So according to two men who tasted it,
Right.
judged it to be lamb or deer.
Okay.
So they did taste it.
Right. And those guys need to be locked up and put away forever. If similar to the guy whose instinct was to identify it, that guy's about half as weird. Also, we're already 3 bags in. That guy is half as weird as the guys who are like, you know what? I haven't eaten lunch yet. I could go for some sky meat. That's probably that. Honestly, I don't want to. I like to get all the facts first before I make assumptions. That might be what's in Skyline Chili.
But you do have to remember that the year is 1876.
Right.
They might think it's like a gift from the gods.
They probably do. They probably do. And those guys, what a lot of people don't know about those guys were dealing with plagues like every other week. And a lot of the time, the meat source, or not their meat source, their food sources were tampered with. And so if I'm a man who's rationing a little bit and I get a little bit of that sweet, sweet sky meat, I'm not letting it go to waste. And I'm actually on these guys' side now. What I don't get is no one came forward. I have a couple of theories, and maybe there are theories on the Wikipedia page. My knee-jerk theory is Google, when was dynamite invented?
On it.
I am 70% sure that was the culprit, and I'm going to tell you what I think happened. What year was dynamite invented?
Dynamite was invented in 1867.
So the same year, 10 years later?
Holy shit! Have you looked?
No, I haven't.
Dynamite and the meat shower was in 1870.
Okay.
1876, 1867. So I thought it was the same year.
Okay, so here's what happened.
10 years separate.
Here's what happened. The dynamite stick was invented, and people are stoked on it. They're like, this is such a revolutionary way to make tunnels. We can, get through caves quicker. And one guy was sitting around, and they're in Kentucky. They're having some of that sweet, sweet bourbon. And they're going, you know what? I'm pretty curious what happens if we put it in the cow. Let's just see what happens. And they did it, and it went exactly how they thought it was going to go. And a couple guys who were minding their own business got hit with a couple of chunks of meat. Big deal. This country was built on people experimenting. We put a man on the moon. We put a rover on Mars. Do you think that that's possible without taking a couple chances? No. He took a shot, and it didn't pay off. Or no, it did pay off. It went exactly how he was hoping it would go. And he probably had to go into hiding.
Now, I'm going to say maybe it wasn't a cow that they put it in.
Right.
Maybe
they were like, Dennis has been talking a lot of shit.
Yeah.
They go, this fucking Dennis guy will not shut the fuck up. Let's see what happens when we give Dennis a little taste of his own medicine. And they put a dynamite stick in him, and they blew him to smithereens.
And then it rained meat.
And then it rained meat.
76.
So here's my thought for you, Lucas. What's your first move? It's like 2 p.m. You've had a pretty good morning. Your afternoon's off to a good start. And then you get smoked by a piece of unidentified meat. Was it slightly cooked? Because like if you get hit with a piece of like raw beef, you're like, okay, it got dropped from somewhere. If the outside is a little seared, it's got like a little butterfly action going on, that implies that there was an explosion. And so
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
if it was raw, I have infinite questions. If it was a little cooked, I'm pretty sure I know what happened.
That's a very astute analysis.
Thank you. All right, what else we got?
Maybe that's why those guys ate it, is because it was a little cooked.
Right. They were like, we're not going to not eat the cooked meat that just fell from this guy.
Sebastian wants to know if he should get breast implants.
You're kind of putting me on the spot here, but if I was a betting man, I would say no. I would say sleep on it. Sleep on it for like 6 months, because I think, people are getting tattoos that they don't like, and that's like devastating, but you can wear a long sleeve shirt. If you get breast implants and you don't like them, we're talking like sweatshirts year round, or
You're still gonna see the boobs through the sweatshirts.
big ass sweatshirts. But we're talking.
You want to move the tuxedo cat to the yellow chair?
We're talking.
They can see it there, but yeah.
We're talking sports bras. We're talking crew necks. Like kiss those sweet V-necks goodbye. I can tell you that much. But if you want them, you know what? I think you should have them. That's what this country is all about. What I'm noticing is most of my advice or most of my theories come back to blank is what our country is all about. So is that something to look into? Perhaps.
Tyler O says, Sebastian, you gotta let me suck him.
Ooh, all right.
Okay. You want to hit another topic?
Yeah, but first, I think we should maybe tell those two to take it outside. Yeah, let's move on to another topic. Teach me something, brother.
Okay. The War of the Stray Dog, you want to talk about?
Nah.
The London Beer Flood of 1814.
Let's put a pin in that one.
The Great Emu War. Emu?
Yep.
Is it emu or emu?
Emu.
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 Let's hear about the Great Emu War. Lay it on me, brother.
I do like the fact that there's like a huge amount of fire just 2 miles away from us, encroaching on us.
Yeah, I would
We're
say
sitting here talking about the Great Emu.
we are here. We're talking about news that matters, and the news might be from over 200 years ago, but that's kind of my favorite news.
Right,
I think if the fire department found out what we were doing right now, they would come in here and they would spank our little bottoms, and they would go, "What?" They would go, "What is your guys' deal?" They go, "We have spent the last 36 hours literally preventing your house from catching on fire, and you guys have the most wires and lights and just flammable plastic."
Building Legos.
Oh, you guys, we were out there saving your guys' lives, and you're in here building the tuxedo cat? Cool. We'll go fuck ourselves.
You're building the tuxedo cat.
I heard an interesting thing about the like houses that are catching on fire. So like a lot of them are like super, super old, and so the smoke is just filled with like asbestos and like lead paint and other goodies like that. So is that something to be worried about? Yeah. Are we going to do anything to prevent it? Probably not. All right, let's hear about the Great Emu War.
The Great Emu War was a nuisance.
Yep.
Was a nuisance.
Sure, it sure sounds like a nuisance. I can tell you that much.
Was a nuisance wildlife management military operation undertaken in Australia.
So I'm gonna need you to say that at half speed.
Okay.
It was a nuisance
Okay, Nuisance. That is nuisance, right?
Sure.
Nuisance.
For the sake of argument, why the hell not?
Nuisance wildlife management military operation.
All right. So in layman's terms, that means the emus were like becoming a problem. They were like annoying as all get out. And the Australian military, presumably someone got bit and they said, enough. I've had enough of these flightless birds.
They are flightless.
We're going to put an end to this. Continue.
Okay, so this happened in Australia in 1932.
Right.
To address public concern over the number of emus, a large flightless bird indigenous to Australia, said to be destroying crops in the Campion district within the wheat belt of Western Australia.
Dude, one thing, I've only been to Australia, never been to Australia, but I've heard do not fuck with the wheat belt. That's kind of like a known thing. You got to just stay out of it. Oh, Jack. Okay, things are going haywire over here.
Dude, this sounds like it was a tough war. So their military was just armed with Lewis guns, whatever kind of guns those are.
Not one you want to be on the receiving end of.
Right.
I can probably...
And although many birds were killed, the emu population persisted and continued to cause crop destruction. So it doesn't sound like Australia won this war.
No, they probably didn't, unfortunately. But they tried. They gave it their best shot. Dude, I'm super confused right now. But okay, wait. So continue. How they were fighting the emus?
Yeah. So this was following World War I.
Lucas, I got bad news. What? We are just way off on this thing.
On the Lego?
Oh no, it just got like a little backtracked. Sorry, continue. How were they fighting them? Were the emus armed? Imagine that. Imagine if you're a young Australian boy, you have just graduated primary school, and it's the summer of 32. Things are good. You're the most fit you're ever going to be. You're having a blast. And they go, all right, good news, boys. Good news and bad news. The good news is we're going to put those skills to the test. We're going to put your training to the test. The bad news is it is against the most aggressive flightless bird in the world.
And yes, and so this was 1932. The Great Depression was in 1929, and it's following World War I.
Right.
So the government was calling to increase wheat crops, and 20,000 emus said no. We're not going to allow you.
They said not on our fucking watch.
Yes. So it sounds like they just started running amok and needed to be killed.
Dude, amok is like one of the worst ways for them to run. I hate when they do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and like they just loved the wheat crops. So.
All right, let's hear about the next one. I'm kind of bored about the Great Emu War.
Let's go back to the chat for a sec.
Yeah, let's see what they're up to.
They're not fucking with the wheat crops. I mean, with the emus.
Like the story, or like
no, they're saying emu.
Emu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bag 5.
I want to know if you want to invest in Pog coin.
I'm a savvy investor. I'm always looking for chances to create generational wealth, and what a better way than some, what is it, Pog coin?
Pog. Do you know what a Pog is?
Of course, I'm a red-blooded American. I know what a Pog is. I think I was born at night, not last night. Rusty Zinger. Yeah, I am just all backed around.
They want to know if Edge ever gets anything done at work, or does he just finish 90% of a task then stop working on it? That's exactly it.
Hey, man. Who's to say? But I love the guy. He actually gave me a book today. One of my New Year's resolutions is to read a book, and so he gave me a pirate book that he knows I'm gonna love, and I'm not gonna talk bad on a man who gave me a book. Would never do that. Do you want to hear my roadmap for my best year ever, 2025?
Yep.
I have constructed the perfect year. And if I hit all of these targets, I think it'll be the best year of my life. Memorize every country in the world. I'm like 70% of the way there, like on a map. Learn how to solve a 4x4 Rubik's Cube because the 3x3 is getting a little boring. Build something out of wood. I'm going to do a 72-hour fast. I'm going to give more high fives. I'm going to make a full court basketball shot. I'm going to learn the names of people I see every day, like baristas, parking guys.
Love that one.
That
fires me up.
That one's awesome. Read a book, volunteer once. I'm going to grow a pirate mustache and a goatee. That was
Your volunteer opportunity could be coming up. The whole fire landscape.
Dude, I just signed up to be a foster parent of a dog displaced by the fire.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Go to Hawaii, build the perfect burrito. This one's my favorite one.
Build the perfect burrito?
Make the perfect burrito, maybe. Build it implies that I'm like constructing it from the ground up.
So you just got to find what the perfect burrito is.
No, I'm going to make it because everyone out here can't do it. This one's my favorite. I'm going to get a painting of my bedroom for my bedroom.
That's sick. I might steal that.
Isn't that awesome?
That's awesome.
And then the last one is I'm going to catch a fly with chopsticks.
I like all of those. I'm going to steal the painting of the bedroom.
Isn't that awesome?
And then in that painting, is the painting hanging up?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think? I haven't thought this out. And I know what a lot of you are thinking. You're going, but Rusty, you can't catch a fly with chopsticks. You're wrong. I've already thought it through. The key, small room, big chopsticks. That's how you do it. You rig it.
That is very
Small room, giant chopsticks. And you let like a million flies loose. All right, what else is on their mind, Lucas?
They said catch a fly with chopsticks. They said they think Will and Liam are beefing. Is that true?
So Will Donnellan said it as a joke, and I didn't even think anything of it. But apparently people like took it seriously. I don't know.
What did he say?
I said that like I wish we were a company that had like beefs all the time. I just think that it's hilarious that happens at Barstool, but like everyone here is too nice to each other. And Will Donnellan said that Will and Liam have one and that one counts. And then I guess people took it seriously.
Well, I saw them show up to work together today in one car. And
They do live together.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind.
They said Jacob feels like he's watching the pod again.
Oh, let's go. That's great. We had a new pod come out today. If you don't know, did I tell you this, Lucas? Will and I are moving to 2 episodes a week in the new year.
Yes.
Very, very exciting stuff. I'm a big fan of the Playmates. So more opportunity to see those lovely people. Dude, some of these people, some of the Playmates are so funny. So that makes my day. Should we hear about another topic?
Yeah, let's go into it. The time Napoleon was attacked by bunnies. Can we please do that one?
Fire away. Fire away, my young prince.
The time Napoleon was attacked.
Dude, that guy Napoleon, can you imagine being that upset with just like everything where you're just like, it's gonna be mine. All of you are doing it wrong. It is going to be mine, and I'm gonna make it right. Did you ever see that letter that he wrote his wife?
Nope.
So he's coming home from war, and he would like it was like medieval sexting, right? So like you'd send a letter like 3 days in advance, and it would like he'd have some like fucking guy with like loafers on like sprint it home. It's like, and from the battlefront, like you're in the middle of fighting like the Persians or something, and you're like, you know what? I should check in on
or the emus.
Or the emus. I should check in on Maria. I should see how she's doing. And he sent her a letter that said, home in 3 days, don't wash.
What?
Can you imagine?
He doesn't want her to wash?
What? I like women. I have never once has it even crossed my mind to be like, hey, before dinner, why don't you just not wash? And let's experiment with that.
So he likes her. He likes
it stinky. He likes it nice and stinky. And honestly, I'm not a player hater. Like I'm not a
kink shamer.
Not gonna kink shame him. Not gonna say anything negative about the guy. What I will say is we all like what we like. Napoleon just happened to like it real stinky.
Like it's stinky.
When I was in like 6th grade, we were driving across the bridge. It was my mom, my sister, and I had heard this joke at school, and I didn't know what it meant, but I like understood. I understood when you were supposed to say it. Have I told you this story before?
I've heard it.
Fuck.
But you got to tell the
Okay.
audience now.
All right. The audience. I was driving across the bridge in Portland, Maine, and what a lot of people don't know is sometimes the Portland area gets covered in a thick fog, and it brings in this very, very fishy smell that is just overpowering. And I had heard this joke at school, and I knew that I didn't know what it meant, but I knew when it smelled fishy or it smelled bad, it was time to let this specific joke rip. And I'd been sitting on it for a couple of days. And so we get across the bridge and we just hit this wall of fish. And I told my sister to close her legs. And I was expecting like a home run, like applause, like people falling out of their car seats. And what I actually got in reality was like a very, very concerned look from my mother. And she didn't know what to do. Like she just wasn't prepped for this as like a parent. And so she just sent me to my room and was just like, never say that again. And so now I'm saying it to you guys on the internet. But if you're out there, my sister, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Or I did mean it. I didn't know what I meant, I guess. All right, let's hear about the time Napoleon was attacked by bunnies, Lucas.
Got you. Okay, so in 1807, Napoleon Bonaparte was attacked by a herd of rabbits during a hunt in a park near Paris.
Right. Okay, so stop. It's a lovely Parisian afternoon. Napoleon and his boys are sitting there, they're drinking absinthe. And they go, this is fun. You know what we should do? We should grab our muskets. Because the bullets were the size of your fist back then. And they go, let's go evaporate some bunnies in that park. That seems like a fun time. And so they go out there, they're in their hunting gear. And what happens, Lucas? The bunnies turned on them. Why didn't they just start firing? That feels like a feeding frenzy.
Napoleon's chief of staff,
right,
Alexandre Berthier, organized a rabbit hunt to celebrate the signing of the treaties of Tilsit, which ended the war between the French Empire and the Imperial Russia.
Right.
Berthier, whatever his name is, brought over 3,000 tame rabbits from local farmers.
Stop.
Yep.
I've only been on this earth for a handful of years, but I've picked up a few things along the way. One of those things is if your boy Berthier is ever like, yo, I have this plethora of bunnies. Let's let them loose in the park and shoot them. You go, thank you so much for the offer, Berthier. I don't want to come off as ungrateful, but that sounds like the weirdest idea you've ever had. Let's go back to doing what we were doing earlier and just maybe not do that. Continue, Lucas.
Yes. So when the cage is open, the rabbits ran towards Napoleon and his men, believing it was feeding time.
Right.
The rabbits flanked Napoleon and his guests.
They flanked him?
They flanked him.
So that implies that these bunnies had spent enough time around Napoleon that they had picked up on like basic,
Hunting.
like military strategies. Like flanking is like coming from the sides. They sound like an organized bunch, and that is pretty terrifying. So how did it end for the boys?
They crowded around the boys, nibbled and gnawed their boots and buttons. Forced them.
How'd they get access to the buttons?
Because they forced the men to their knees, piled themselves up between Napoleon's legs till they made him stagger.
What is stagger?
That's a-
Like stumble?
Buckle, maybe?
I can live with that.
They piled themselves up between Napoleon's legs. They made him stagger. Yeah, like he'd probably wobble. And
These bunnies sound awesome.
so then Napoleon ran away and locked himself in his carriage.
Right.
However, the rabbits continued to attack.
So the fact that he locked the door again suggests that these bunnies have not only, a pretty advanced military understanding of military strategy, they also understand how locks work, which I don't know about you guys. I want absolutely no part of that. That sounds like not a very fun time for me. But I also think he deserved it. I think if you were, he was trying to shoot some fish in a barrel and it backfired. And that happens to the best of us, but you got to just, go back to the drawing board and come back a little bit stronger.
Listen to this.
Okay.
Once he got back in his carriage, the rabbits continued to attack, flanking the wagon.
Dude, what is up with their they just have
smart.
an insatiable urge to flank. These guys want to do one thing and one thing only, and it is to flank. They don't know why they want to flank, but they want to flank.
Some reportedly leapt into the carriage, and Napoleon and his men managed to retreat and outrun the rabbits. I can't believe that this is true. Like, I don't actually think that this happened.
I think you would be surprised by how ridiculous history is. Some crazy stuff went down. That is truly bizarre, though. I like that they just they don't fully understand why they need to flank, but they need to flank, and they need to flank now.
Dude, Willie D texted me 10 minutes ago, and he said, I think we have a mutual friend. Do you know Phil Mayanus?
Willie D, that prankster.
That goofball.
What's the chat saying, Lucas? Also, I don't want to toot my own horn. I don't know if there's anyone better at multitasking than me when I'm listening to you and talking, and then I'm also building a Lego set. Do you disagree?
I think, no, I agree 100% because I was trying to listen to you as I read the chat and then just started reading the chat. So I could not do what you were doing.
All right, we're on to bag 6. We're kind of flying right now.
7:02 right now.
Okay, guys, Jacob told us to only go for an hour, but I think we're going to go until 7:10 and just not tell him because the audio didn't work for 10 minutes. So if you guys don't tell him that I went over, I won't tell him that you guys have been giving me silly names.
Phil Mayanus.
Like Phil Mayanus.
There's like a chat between a handful of them talking about Maggie's box, but it's a delivery package, not that type of box. And I can't find out what they're talking about.
Oh. Sounds awful. There's a handful of them?
Okay, do you want me to just read it all out?
No, not really.
Maggie, is your package close? Maggie said, arriving tomorrow by 10 p.m. If it doesn't, I'll sue. Sebastian said, let's go.
Oh, wait. What is...
all these people have a group chat together?
Oh, so they're not trying to trick me into saying something?
No, not.
So this is what's so fun about this group of people is some of them are constantly trying to fuck with me. And then the others, I think, are just genuinely like good buddies outside of this. And they're having a blast. Let's hear about, I don't really want to dive into this. It's one too hard. Let's hear about one more topic and break that down. and then we'll move on. How many people are in here, Lucas?
86.
Hmm.
Ryan Eddy said, Lucas, Rusty might not remember, but we'd run it back in college at Rollins at the guest house.
The guest house. I don't recall. But I will.
I feel like he's piecing different stories together that you said, trying to act like.
Oh, like he's picturing like the shack.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. All right, hit me with one more story from history, and let's get to the bottom of it, and then let's go save our houses from fire.
I know. The Siege of Kaffa.
Yep. Let's hear about that.
The Siege of Kaffa. Dude, yeah, your apartment is low key very close.
Oh, it's in the middle of the fire right now. But
Are you worried?
no, because like, what can I be worried about? Like, you know what I mean? Being
Like, maybe, do you have like a bag packed of all your important stuff?
Nope. But like, what even is there? Passport?
Passport, money,
I don't carry cash.
toothbrush.
That'd be funny to just be like, I cannot get another toothbrush. It will financially cripple me if I get another toothbrush right now.
Okay, the Siege of Kaffa was a 14th century military conflict that took place in the Crimean Peninsula.
Crimean.
Thank you. Dude, there's so many hard words in these stories.
Well, because words used to be absolutely ludicrous back in the day. They were not real, and we were still kind of figuring out the basic structure of our language, and we were just kind of flying by the seat of our pants.
Yeah, so this took place in the Crimean Peninsula when the Golden Horde, an offshoot of Genghis Khan's Mongol Empire, besieged the Genesee trading center of Kaffa. That makes sense to you?
Yeah. So he's, no, I didn't get it.
Dude, can we pick one with less difficult words?
Please. And then let's go save the house from fire.
Let's do the London beer flood of 1814.
Yep. Let it fly. The London beer flood sounds like a yearly. It's like Germany has Oktoberfest, England has the London beer flood, and it's kind of like a drink your way to safety situation where everyone collectively, if they drink enough, can save themselves from peril.
So the London beer flood was an accident at the Horseshoe Brewery in London.
It's always going down at the Horseshoe.
On October 17th, 1814.
Okay.
It took place when one of the 22-foot tall wooden vats of fermenting porter burst, which I believe is a type of beer, or the fermenting porter burst. That thing burst. The
fermenting porter burst.
Yeah. The escaping liquid dislodged the valve of another vessel and destroyed several large barrels. Between 128,000 and 323 imperial gallons of beer were released in total. It's a lot.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. So what happened? Were the people okay?
The resulting wave of porter destroyed the back wall of the brewery and swept into an area of slum dwellings known as the St. Giles Rookery.
So this honestly sounds, and I don't want to be insensitive, this honestly sounds like a blessing in disguise. You live in the slums. You don't have enough money for basic necessities, let alone alcohol. And out of nowhere, just a ridiculous, nay, redonkulous amount of beer comes rushing through the door. That sounds like a great time.
I've got some really bad news to tell you.
They all died.
8 people died, and 5 of them were mourners at a wake being held by an Irish family for a 2-year-old boy.
Oh, okay. Yep. That's not great. That's not great.
That sentence just got worse and worse.
So they were mourning like their son?
Yeah, 5 people died at a wake mourning a 2-year-old boy during the beer flood.
Yeah, that's no bueno.
No, that's not.
But the rest, how much beer could that possibly be?
It was 580,000 liters. 323
I don't-
imperial gallons. Yeah, I don't know how to quantify that.
I mean, you lost me at liters. I think we're in America. We speak American, and
Wait,
we
and I
use.
got that wrong. It's like 580 million liters. I forgot a couple zeros.
So is that like this whole room
I would have to imagine.
filled to the brim? Wait, gallon. This is like 30,000 gallons. This room.
Yeah, and there's 323,000 gallons.
Yeah, that would do some damage. All right, guys. We love you. We're sorry for the technical difficulties at the beginning, but we are doing Mondays and Wednesdays for an hour of just Lego building, hanging out and chatting. We will, slowly get this process better. We will have maybe a TV for your comments, and we will make sure that the audio is working before we start it on Monday.